Hey everybody, it's Lavender Town, and today I wanted to share the top 5 regrets or things that I wish I knew before I went to art school so that you guys don't have to repeat my mistakes. But first I want to give a quick shout out to the sponsor of today's video, Black Desert Online. Black Desert Online is an MMORPG I've talked a little bit about in the past, but they just released a new mode called Shadow Arena. It's their Battle Royale mode, and it plays like no Battle Royale I've ever played before because it's still in this rich fantasy world, so you're fighting with magic and swords and daggers. There's also a lot less downtime than a lot of other Battle Royales where you're just sort of waiting around and looting because there's monsters everywhere that you can also fight. You start off as this little soul looking around for an adventurer to possess basically, and that adds a lot to the game because you end up playing a lot of different classes that you may not otherwise have tried. If you want to try out the game, check the link down below, and thank you so much to Black Desert Online for continuing to support my channel. Okay, so the first thing that I wish I knew before I went to art school is that pretty much everything in year 1 and a lot of stuff in year 2 is only there to teach you things, which means that you shouldn't stress over every little assignment. You should just be looking at each one as an opportunity to learn. Now, this is extremely hard to get through your head when you're first getting started. Every single assignment feels so important and like something that you would want to make your absolute best work. But one of the things that I wish I just really understood and sort of kept in mind as I was working was that I was never going to be super proud of my year 1 work many years down the line. It's just part of the transition of learning so much and improving so much. There's just no way that your year 1 stuff is going to be something that you really look back on with pride. So you might as well just take it as an opportunity to learn. And even more than that, an opportunity to experiment and try new things. I was scared to experiment in my first year because I felt like I had to try and sort of strategize how to get the best possible grade and do the best possible job every time. And that kept me from trying new things, which is exactly what year 1 is for. So I really wish that I had let myself sort of try things that I wasn't certain the teacher was going to like, because that would have been more valuable to me in the long run. A big part of this, I think, was because I had a grades dependent scholarship, so I was really scared to take any risks. But I think even if you don't have one of those, there's a good chance that you're going to find yourself just trying to strategize the best way to get a good grade, and you really should try to let yourself experiment a lot in year 1. And take detailed notes of what you hear in crit in your first few years. Those are the things that are really going to help you. If you have to throw away your assignments, that's fine, but don't throw away the things that people said about them, because that stuff will be so helpful to you moving forward. Now, this second thing that I regret is primarily just so I didn't get such a bad sticker shock experience. It's really easy to tally up things like tuition and how much the dorms cost and how much various fees that are already listed on your packets that the school sends you. That stuff is easy to budget for because they come out with it up front. So I thought I had a real idea about how much this all was going to cost. Often I didn't really accurately budget for how much my supplies were actually going to cost. The thing about art school is that you might think that you have it better than other college students because you're not going to have to buy textbooks, which are usually the biggest expense for a college student when it comes to supplies. But the problem is, A, you might actually have to buy a textbook. We definitely were required to have one for art history and a few other classes. And B, the cost of art supplies over time is pretty enormous, and if you don't prepare yourself for them, you're going to be extremely upset when you walk into class and realize that you were required to come with hundreds and hundreds of dollars of paint. This was something that I continually struggled with as I went through my various courses that weren't digital based. It was super frustrating for me because as a digital artist, I knew that I probably wasn't going to be using these materials in my professional life, so it just added some insult to injury because I just really couldn't see the value of these things, and I didn't realize how much this stuff costs. So like every single time that we had to get more paints, I was spending spending multiple hundreds of dollars at the school store. This is another thing. Try to figure out what you're going to need supply-wise and shop around. Don't wait until the day of and have to go to the school store, because the school store will rip you off. At least at my college. I don't know if it's like that at all colleges, but it's definitely not the best deal at my school store. This next one is maybe my biggest regret, and it's something that I feel sad about kind of routinely. One of the most important and best things about art school is getting to spend time with so many like-minded people, other artists with similar goals and dreams to yours. But I kind of got so caught up in the competitive nature of the school and of the coursework that I had a really hard time seeing my fellow classmates as potential friends or people who I could, start talking to. I was so nervous and anxious about where I ranked in the class, how well I was doing. I felt like I didn't deserve to talk to some people. I felt like other people would just laugh at me or would think I had some sort of ulterior motive. I'm noticing this is kind of a trend with me and social stuff, is like I'm always scared that people are going to take it the wrong way if I just try to be friendly, and this was definitely an issue in art school. Luckily, I still managed to make friends with some really, really great people, but I just wish I had taken more advantage of the situation that I was in and not been so caught up in this sort of invisible class system that I thought was going on, because half of it I'm sure was just paranoia anyway. And now that I don't have the opportunity to hang out with artists that often, I really miss it. I really wish that I could do that again. So try not to compete too hard with your classmates. It's okay to feel a little competitive, but don't let that get in the way of potential friendships and things like that, because truth be told, comparing yourself to the other kids in your class, even if they're sort of encouraging that, like the course and the teacher are encouraging that, you want to avoid it at all costs. It doesn't actually make you that much better. Try to learn from your fellow classmates, but don't compare yourself to them, if that makes any sense. It just really gets in the way of the relationships that you could potentially build, and that stuff is really actually quite important. This next one is another regret that I could probably chalk up to social anxiety if I really wanted to, but I really wanted to bring it up just in case this is something that you guys don't automatically think to do. Now, in my first couple of years, I was really scared to talk to my teachers about anything other than schoolwork. I think it sort of comes from, high school and middle school, where it's not normal to ask your teachers anything outside of exactly what's going on in class. But at art school, it is so useful and so helpful to talk to your teachers anytime that you have a concern that's like about your career or art or anything like that, even if it's not related to the assignment or what you're doing in class, because these are people who are literally being paid to help you. So if you're trying to get an internship, or if you have an idea for a comic book or anything like that and you need advice, you should talk to your teacher and ask them questions. I just wish that I had started doing this sooner. I started asking my teachers, certain teachers that I got along with really well and who I respected a lot, questions about future career stuff, on what to do here or there, how to move forward with different stuff related to my comics and things like that. And they were so helpful and so happy to help. They really just want you to succeed, the good ones anyway. So don't be afraid to talk to them, and make sure to basically utilize them as much as you can while you have this opportunity. I didn't really grasp this while I was there, but it's extremely rare to be in a situation where you see professional children's books illustrators, professional design people, professional typographers, all these different people who do this or have done this as a full-time job. These are so many creative people who are in such a unique position of understanding how all these fields work, that wasting that opportunity is just a total crime. You don't want to do it. Ask your teachers questions. This last one is the most important for maintaining your own sanity and your own sense of self while you're at art school. Now, when I was there, it was truly an experience that I can never really forget. It was its own little world, and I really felt wrapped up in it in a way that I never really have before. But that is the thing that you have to remember. Art school is its own little world. There are things that people prefer in art school. There's like tastes and things that people have in art school that are unique to it. And so not every single thing that you learn there is going to be relevant to the real world, especially when teachers or faculty who've been there for a long time are making blanket statements about certain styles or certain things, or pushing you routinely towards one specific thing. Sometimes that's just because they've been in academia for a little too long. The world outside of art school is actually open to a lot more different types of things and has a different standard by which it rewards skill. So this is something that I really want you to remember if you're having trouble getting teachers to respect what you're doing or to appreciate what you're doing. I had a lot of different teachers, some of which totally got what I was going for and really helped me improve within the field that I wanted to go for. But I had a lot, probably at least an equal amount or maybe more, who really didn't get what I was trying to do. They didn't like comics, they didn't like cartoons, and they pretty much hated everything that I put forward, even when I was trying really hard to do what they wanted. Obviously, some of that stuff is still going to bleed through into my assignments. So don't be too discouraged if you're having trouble in that way, because the world outside of art school is actually quite a bit bigger. And just because some teachers feel like what you're doing is not good doesn't actually mean that the outside world is going to think that too. So that's it for my regrets. Overall, I don't regret going to art school. It taught me a lot about art and also about life and being an adult and a professional. And I will see you guys hopefully tomorrow for a live stream, actually. A lot of people said Saturday, and if my shoulder's feeling up to it, I'm definitely going to do one, so keep your eyes peeled for that. I was able to add a bunch of new emotes because you guys are signing up for the membership. Thank you so much for that as well. The icons are going to be usable during the live stream, so if you have them, you should definitely come. Oh, and thanks again to Black Desert Online for sponsoring the video. Check out the link in the description if you want to try out their super cool new Battle Royale mode. I hope to see you guys either tomorrow on the live stream or Sunday for my next video. Thank you to all of my patrons, including Bella Story, Blue Boy, Calbompong, Caramel TV, Clockwork Construct, Dionysus Hadjirilis. I'm sorry, I keep mispronouncing your name. Dr. Casket, Elizabeth Album, Hope Chilsum, Imagine Creation, JJJ, Joseph Copel, Carla Tapia, Kirirdid, Liblivlivla, Megan Claire, Midnight Doodles, Micah Dactyl, Nora Cornelison, Okamori, Ollie, Rosie Warlock, Sergeant Pendulum, Tawny and Tug, I don't know. The Artsy Moose, Tyler, your boys T, and Zoe Stardust.